standing up for intellectual diversity at Boston University, next on the Campus Roundup. Hello, I'm Dr. Duke, and this is the Campus Roundup at the College Fix. This week we're going to discuss the topic of intellectual diversity and what a mockery that's become on college campuses. To talk more about this, we welcome Diana Soriano, a student at Boston University and a reporter for the College Fix. Diana, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You did a fantastic op-ed, and the title of it was, "I Called for Diversity of Thought. My peers compared me to a neo-Nazi." Start by talking about how all this, the genesis of your article, your op-ed, a political science leadership conference that you attended.
So for the first meeting, we had some pizza. I sat and listened to everyone for an hour, very respectfully. I was getting along with everyone, kind of thing. And I knew I was the only one that was remotely right of center. Everyone was the political science board is going to attract the leftists of the left, as you can imagine. So I had some other ideas that weren't too controversial, but then I had a very controversial idea that we should probably do a better job with promoting intellectual diversity. Because, BU is supposed to be a prestigious school. We should be able to debate stuff, have discussions, and, hear differing points of views without getting upset about it. Especially in political science, because if you're gonna be a politician or something or a lawyer, you're gonna have to hear opposing viewpoints.
So you're in a political science forum to try to improve the major, to make it a little bit more efficient. And after hearing all of these progressive kids giving progressive ideas, you simply suggested, like you said, a radical idea to the progressive left that there should be more intellectual diversity. And that's when it really got kind of ugly, right? And so you were accused of being a neo-Nazi because somebody who said intellectual diversity went to a right-wing rally, then of course you're a neo-Nazi. And
yeah, it's like a Hitler had a dog. If you you're a Nazi kind of thing.
Right, exactly. And so the irony of that is palpable. But you had said something to me, the most frustrating aspect of your story. At one point, one of the kids in the room, after they had targeted you for your conservatism, said basically that conservatives shouldn't major in political science at Boston University because they're going to have a real hard time. And everyone in the room, including the professor and the administrator, started laughing out loud. Is that correct?
Yes. So after that girl made that neo-Nazi comparison, I thought someone would defend me or something, point out that was ridiculous. I personally was really shocked. But no, someone else was so somehow it went from neo-Nazi to conservatives right away, as if those were one and the same. And then one girl said these two girls on her softball team, I think, were from Texas, and they were Texas conservatives. And they were saying they were thinking about majoring in political science. And she told them that wouldn't be a good idea because they wouldn't do well. People that wouldn't fly kind of thing. And then everyone was dying. That was hilarious.
Well, right. It's the lack of self-awareness, too, that gets me, is that
exactly.
they've already stereotyped these kids because they're from Texas, right? And they're softball players, that they're going to have to be right-wing hee-haw type guys and girls, and that you can't, that we wouldn't fly. The proprietary nature of this, and then, again, the fact that you had an administrator and a professor in the room, and they not only did not defend you, or at least call for civility, they were laughing loudly, too. And to me, that is really the core of this. And so let me ask you, you are basically being told that you made a mistake majoring in political science, and as a consequence of this, you actually downgraded political science to a minor. But if you shouldn't be, according to your peers and your professors, a political science major if you're conservative, then what should you major in? I mean, after all, you've had grief in your English classes. You've had grief in your other classes. Talk about some of the experiences in your non-political science classes.
Right. So people think it's just political science. Oh, not at all. Not at all. So in statistics, a math class, nothing to do with politics. One of my professors would just make the questions. So they write the questions. He would make it about proving how Fox News is unbalanced, stuff like that. An English teachers are very left wing too. They pick, so you're writing, but they pick the topics that you write about. So, you always have to write about how awful Trump is, kind of thing. And then my English professor made us call her professor, even though she was a TA. She the day Trump won, she like came to class crying and like dismissed class early. She would always email us about like safe spaces that we can go to, and we had an entire police force. Like we were very safe as it was, so I was always just like very confused. Definitely like sociology professors, psychology professors, like because like they just find a way to get it in there. Like you learn about concepts, and then they try to give you examples of concepts, and they'll always make it like political ones.
Do you feel that there are any classes that you've had where you've been able to express conservative ideas and be respected as an equal?
No, no.
Well, and that is an important statement in and of itself. You know, you have done a really good job, I think, defending yourself, and I know you've gotten a lot of attention. Last question I want to ask you here is, since you've been making news, this has been in the College Fix, you've been interviewed on the radio, has the university talked to you at all? Have you gotten any feedback from any of your political science peers or from the administrators from the university at all?
One political science peer who I know is like very left wing said he really liked the article and everything. No one from the administration has reached out to me, but they've definitely seen it. I just don't think they want to bring attention to it because BU has been having a lot of bad press, because especially because AOC. This op-ed was also, like on Instapundit and stuff. Someone actually, a law professor at BU, actually reached out to me about it. He's like the only right-leaning law professor at the entire school, and he saw it on like a conservative blog, and he emailed me and was like, listen, like, we should talk. Like, I know how you feel. And he used to work for, like, he works for, like, the Federalist Society and Heritage Foundation. So I haven't gotten anything negative, but I think that's because no one wants to, like, I don't think the administration would want to bring, like, bad press to it. They'd rather it just die out.
Well, I think it's really nice that a conservative professor, because I know you want to be a lawyer at some point, so having a conservative lawyer there who actually reached out to you is a very, very good thing. And Diana, look, I agree with you 100%. The only way this is going to get better is if conservative and even moderate students, and even conscientious Democrats and progressives who recognize that there is room for other ideas. Until all of those groups get together and stand up to this sort of tyranny of the monolith, nothing's going to get better, and running away isn't the answer. So I really applaud you for taking a stand and for being brave and for joining us here today.
Of course. Thank you so much.
And that does it for us this week. Be sure to stay up on all the latest news and information from the College Fix by joining us on all of our social media platforms. For the Campus Roundup, I'm Dr. Duke, and we look forward to seeing you next time.